Yeah, I have yet to wear a suit for an interview. I have yet to wear a suit for... Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariah. Good morning. It is 6:30. My alarm did go off at 6, and yet I'm just now kind of getting up. This week's video is going to be days in my life, kind of study vlogish. I have some interviews this week that I mentioned in my last video for practicum, which is like internship, but it's not. Today's Monday. On Mondays, I see my clients. So today I have 4 out of my 5 clients. Right now I'm doing child, parent, psychotherapy, and a trauma department. Mondays kind of make me nervous because, you know, imposter syndrome and things like that. So I have my friends actually coming over to sleep over before school tomorrow because I live super close to the school. So I have 2 friends coming over to do that because I'm trying to pair like fun things on Mondays so that I'm like something else to look forward to aside just being like super nervous about my clients. That's getting better though. It is getting better. I got a double cleanser. I bought an oil cleanser to start double cleansing because that's what we seem to be doing now. And I'm here for it. I get it. So, but should you double cleanse like in the morning too, or is that like a nighttime thing? Let's ask TikTok.
But if you're oily and acne-prone skin and you wake up with some kind of shine or sweat in the T-zone, like I certainly do, then you will really want to cleanse in the morning. It will help.
No, I don't double cleanse in the morning. Double cleansing is for nighttime to remove makeup and sunscreen. The only time that I cleanse my face in the morning is if I wake up with oily skin, and I
Normally I do my makeup, but we're gonna do a low energy routine today. And if you don't know what a low energy routine is, let me explain. So my friend actually brought this to my attention. We're trying to do this semester right. If you've watched my last 5 videos, you would know that it was rough. It was rough grad school this last year. We have 2 separate routines, high energy routines and low energy routines. So in a higher energy routine, I would do my makeup, but I decided not to because I have to wear a mask at prac anyway. My low energy routine is usually like no makeup, very small and easy breakfast, like maybe not even making eggs, but because everything in the house is clean, because Jordan and I did a really good job this weekend, I can make those eggs. So I'm going to. So it's like a mix. I'm feeling medium energy routine today. Not high, not super low. Wow, I actually was able to eat my breakfast. I didn't have to take it with me, so that's nice. My lunch bag is packed, my work bag is packed. Oh, there's the lunch bag. So I think I'm just gonna watch some YouTube and just chill out. It is Tuesday. I did not record when my friends were here because it was just too much. Say hi, Brandy. Okay. That's my breakfast. And now I have to leave in 13 minutes, so I gotta hurry up.
Everything she gets is boxed. I'm like, all right, I feel it.
We're going to Starbucks.
So I don't blame her. Everything I have.
I was like, today is Wednesday. Today is going to be a more productive day. Usually I go to prac and have some clients, but because it's interview seasons, we had the option to kind of talk to our supervisor to take the day off. I have interviews tomorrow and Friday, so a little later in the video, I'm going to talk about some tips and some things I did to prepare for interviews this time and how it went last time. But right now, I am budgeting. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how I want to budget up these next coming months because I am living off of loans. Yay. I'm living off of loans and that sucks. Yeah, but I don't think about it. At this point, it's like I'm already in debt, so let's just keep going. So I have a certain amount of money that is deposited into my account at the beginning of each semester. I'm now trying to be better because last semester, because it was a hard semester, like I've been saying in my last few videos, shopping was my coping mechanism and just buying food and doing all those things without thinking about money and my credit cards. So whatever, all my credit cards are paid off now. So now with the money that I have left, I need to budget my bills just to see how much I have for mess around money. We call it F around money, but I'm not gonna say that on here. But that's, I'm trying to separate it. And anything that's bills, like streaming services, gas. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just gonna budget so that I don't end up the way I ended up last semester. I was struggling. I don't know how I made it, but I made it, and here we are now, and I'm not necessarily broke anymore. This is a PSA to be better with your money than me. Please. You're welcome. I finished budgeting. I'm broke-ish. I have almost $300. Well, we'll see what tax return does, but I have like $300 each month to mess around with. That's not a lot, but knowing all my bills are paid for is nice. Like knowing that I have that and that those are done is kind of really nice, but looking at it and like, oh, but this is how much you have left stings a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna work in the summer. I have no choice but to work in the summer and try to save as much money as possible. So that'll help a little bit. So I want to talk a little bit about preparing for interviews. I have 2 interviews this week. So the first thing that I did, I'm in a PsyD program, so I'm interviewing for placements that are therapy settings. There's intervention and assessment. So this might be a little different depending on what your interviews are for grad school specifically. So for internships, the first thing that you should get really clear on is your why. 9 times out of I think always a site is gonna ask you like, why did you choose this site? What about this site makes you a good fit? Things like that. You want to get really clear on that. If you're having trouble coming up with those things, maybe you should reassess, like, is this site for you? If you're brand new, chances are like grateful to get anything if you have no experience, like I did in my first rotation. So for me, like my why for a site was that I like working with trauma. You want to look at maybe the mission of the site, practices they use or things that they're training you on, and how that your interest in those things and how that's going to help your goals and how it aligns with your goals. They really like hearing that stuff because you clearly have you're creating a path for yourself and they could be a key part of that path. I would say the why question is really important. Another question definitely think about beforehand is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? That is a question that I think I am asked in almost every interview. And of course, your weakness should definitely be something that could be a strength. So for example, if I get asked a weakness this year, what's funny is that when I got my evaluation for the first semester at my current placement, my critique in the evaluation was that I can slow down and not expect so much of myself so early on, and that things take time. That can easily be flipped, and that's something my supervisor gave me. So that's something I will definitely bring up as a weakness, and that my supervisor sees it as well, that I get very excited. I want to help. I want to really take treatment seriously and move through it. And so sometimes that puts a lot of pressure on myself, and then I start to feel, some of that imposter syndrome. And I think that's a really good weakness that can turn into a strength, but you would still name it as a weakness. So your strength, you want to keep something different from that. So a strength could be resilience, right? I think that's a really good strength. You just have to be able to talk about that. Another question that I've gotten asked many times in job interviews, regular job interviews, and even in prac, tell me about a time where you had a disagreement or were on opposing sides with a supervisor or somebody, a coworker, a boss, and how did you handle that? I hate that question. That's my least favorite question. They're looking for the problem, your problem solving skills, and the resolution. So if you can break it down into those three things, I think one, it'll help you with the getting super wordy. That happens to me a lot in interviews. I just get nervous. I in front of the camera. So that's something I'm still working on. Another question that I think is really common when it comes to internships and things like that is, what are your goals? What are your career goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? When people ask me what are you interested in? I'm still so early in the program that there's a lot of things that I still want to touch on and try out. But you find something you can narrow down to. So for me, I have some trauma experience now. I know I'm really interested in trauma, and I'm finally finding a theoretical orientation that I'm interested in. Have I practiced yet? Do I have full knowledge on that topic yet? No, but I think I see the value in it. Do your own little research on the side so you can be able to talk about why it's something that really interests you. It doesn't mean that you're signing off saying that this is what I'm going to do. That's not the goal. The goal is to see kind of where your head is at right now, and to just see how you're thinking and how much you care about the things that you're doing. How would a friend describe you in 3 words? That question is also a question I don't really care for, but it's come up in job interviews and prac interviews. So I would just think about 1 that speaks to your work ethic, and 2 that speak to your personality, or depending on your field, it might be more smart to do 2 that speak to your work ethic and 1 that speaks to your personality. Now, the next thing is questions that you need to come up with. You definitely should have questions ready to ask them. So you want to go, obviously, look deep into the site, go on their website, their mission page. If you know who's going to be interviewing you, find their LinkedIn, their Facebook. So here are some questions that I think are really important, period. Are there any changes that the company is anticipating over the next 6 months to a year? Because when I was placed last year, I got pulled from my site. So I went through the interview process, match day, where you match with the site. They send offers. And then in the middle of the summer, before I was supposed to start in fall, I got pulled because there was this huge district merger and it changed the course of everything, and they no longer would have a licensed clinical psychologist on staff, and I need that in order to be able to be placed and have supervision. What are you looking for in an intern? Ask them straight up. What are you looking for? What are your expectations? It's not just because you want to, you don't want to just suck up to them. You want to know if you're capable of even doing or want to do half the things that they expect of you. Then I think it's really important for what would a typical day look like for me. So if they're having trouble telling you what a typical day might look like, that could be a red flag depending on how you feel, how comfortable you feel, and your abilities to just go with the flow, be super independent. If you're looking for more structure, you'll be able to see that in this question. Those are my general tips. Of course, there's a lot of resources online that I think, you can tailor to whatever your field is. But those are just some general tips and points. So my advisor is the best, and I was talking to her about how I just feel very overwhelmed and unorganized after last semester, and she offered to create co-working spaces where she'll schedule spaces on campus or maybe sometimes off campus where whoever's interested can come and we can just work together and be productive. And typically I'll have my headphones in, we'll be quiet, and then, you know, talk about what we're gonna work on. And it's just nice to be in an environment where other people are also working. It definitely made me way more productive. I got everything I needed to get done on my to-do list, and this was the first time we've done this, and we're gonna try to do it, I think, every Friday. So I was really, really happy about this. I highly recommend if you can find people to work with and be productive. The sun is sunning. Okay, so I thought I'd take some time to talk to you guys about interview attire. Just really quick, just a little brief. I did just have my interview, one of my interviews. It went really, really well. This is the shirt that I wore. This is all they could see. You should wear something on your bottom that, God forbid something happened where you had to get up, you're not going to show your butt. You're not gonna be embarrassed. So what I have gym leggings on, but they're all black. So they don't know that these are athletic leggings. But if I had to get up for an emergency or something like that, I still look professional. I still look good. But yeah, I like turtlenecks for interviews, especially Zoom interviews where I don't wanna wear a collar, I don't wanna wear a suit. I have yet to wear a suit for an interview or like a blazer or anything like that. I feel like turtlenecks, especially over Zoom, go really well. I only have one in-person interview, and this is gonna be my first in-person for internships in the academic realm. Then I might consider a collar or some sort for that in-person interview. And then like dress pants, slacks, whatever the case is. I feel like you could get away with like slacks and a nice turtleneck. Like mine is just black, it's fitted. It doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't have to buy a $200 suit or a $100 blazer. I would also do research on the field in which you are applying and that particular site.